So this is the Honor 600 Pro, a £900 phone thinner than an iPhone 17 Pro. Inside, it have a 6400 mAh battery, 200 megapixel camera, and on paper, none of these should be together at this price point. Somehow Honor managed to do it. So where did it cut all the corners? Well, let's find out. So let me start with the area where Honor didn't cut anything at all, the battery. This is a 6400 mAh cell. Come with a silicon carbon technology, and the most impressive part is actually the charging. Using Honor's own charger, it goes from 1% to 43% in 15 minutes, and it hits 71% in half an hour, and it reached full charging around 48 minutes. And to get the 80 watts only happen if you get Honor's own supercharger. I have tested this myself with a 240 watt PD charger, a proper powerful one, and the phone only pulls 60 power, so reaching 33% in the same 50 minutes. It's still decent, to be honest, just not the uptime speed. And something worth mentioning on the battery topic as well, UK and EU units only got 6400 mAh battery. The same phone in USA or India, you're getting a 7000 mAh battery inside. So thanks to regional regulations. But now, the first thing you really notice when you get this phone is just the balance. At 195 grams and 7.8 millimeters thin, it just sits right in your hand, never feel like front heavy or awkward to feel. And this one is the black version, which is a matte metal frame all around and a composite fiberglass, which is just a very, very nice way to call it plastic. And the matte finish is picking up fewer fingerprints than other glossy phones for most brands are still pushing out there. So I really like that. And unlocking and handheld is under display fingerprint, fast, reliable, and exactly what you expect at this point. Now, when we flip it over, you cannot miss that camera plateau. 3 lenses sitting right there on the surface. And honestly, Honor just played it safe here with this design. The last flagship, the Magic 8 Pro, had this huge camera modular that practically just shouted like, look at me, I'm a camera, look at this. This just feels like it's following the crowd that the iPhone 17 Pro decided to start this little trend. Same with the Xiaomi 17 Pro and the Realme GT7 as well. Very copy it, but just change it a little bit. Not a bad looking phone, to be honest. It's just a little bit familiar rather than a statement. But forgetting about who looked like who, this thing carries 3 separate certificates: IP68, IP69, and IP69K. It's not just dust tight and waterproof up to 1.5 meters, it's also to survive temperatures up to 80 degrees Celsius. And that IP69K certificate involves water jets with pressure up to 100 bars, so roughly 1450 psi. So water guns or your water hose or the shower is not gonna touch this little thing. And now we still on the outside, something mentioning it got stereo speakers sitting on the opposite side, so on the top and on the bottom, firing up and firing down. And Honor actually is letting you pass the normal 100% volume that everyone is using all the way to 200. So that's not a bug whatsoever. That is a feature. And generally is loud enough for a garden barbecue. And you also got this AI button that you press, and you do have this glowing panel coming from the side. And it really works, and I tried to test it, taking pictures with people in the background walking around, and it does delete them perfectly. Now, also got edge expansion, or like fill the background, and you can push it and push it, but around the 7th attempt that you decide to push it, everything just comes very smeary and very, like, everything just blurs together. So yeah, Honor have put a lot into that AI. Many of them are also Google AI features like circuit search and AI memories. And of course, you do need internet connection. So you know all the data that you're doing with that AI is leaving the device. And I already have showed you the front, but here we go. 6.5-inch AMOLED panel, 120 Hz, 458 pixel pinch, and day-to-day scrolling and watching any content feel great. But again, Honor market this thing at 8,000 nits of peak brightness, and that number gets thrown around a lot in the sales page of this device. And in reality, if you push it manually, it hits like around 846 nits. And if you turn auto brightness along with sunlight mode, it climbs all the way to 1766. The full 644 nits only show in a tiny 10% window during HDR content. So not across the whole screen. So that doesn't mean like Honor is lying to you, but what it really means is that 8000 nits figure is just measured under a very specific condition in a very specific part of the display. Overall, it's just a very good display. Perfect size, good balance, nothing to really complain about it, to be honest. And another hood is the Snapdragon 8 Elite. Yes, last year's chips, not the newer Gen 5 already in other 2026 Flagship, but gen-to-gen improvement are so little these days that using last year's Flagship chips is honestly a smarter move to keep the price exactly where it is. And I have run Geekbench myself back to back, and you can see how it handles sustainable loads. There's a slight drop off on the second pass, and a clear sign of the system is intentionally pulling back the power to manage all the heat. Now, a great user experience only gets you so far. The real deal praise for everyone, well, it's the camera. Luckily, this is one thing that it gets really impressive, because the camera system here is easily the highlight of the entire device. 3 rear lenses, a 200 megapixel main sensor, 50 megapixel telephoto, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. By default, it's doing pixel binding to deliver cleaner, more detailed shot in any lighting. But if you need that extra detail, there's a high-res mode. They only let you shoot in 1x and kick you all the way to 3.5 telephoto lens. And I decided to push it all the way to zoom. 7x, the details start falling apart, turning blotchy and almost looking like paint. And when you pass like 10x, it's proper digital zoom. All the way to 120x, the quality just keep dropping from there. Now, if you do this outside in the best condition ever, best lighting ever, you're gonna be impressed. Like if you zoom to some church, a stone, something outdoors, it's gonna be incredible. And the camera at the front, it does deserve their own mention, because it's generally great for video calls and selfies, and sharp, well exposed. And I was honestly very impressed that all my Fun Facts short series have been done with this front camera. So if you go over my Instagram or TikTok, you will see about overall, I have used the front camera all the time, and it's a great camera for the price. So there are a few things you should also know, even if it didn't bother me whatsoever, and it's not gonna bother you whatsoever in a day to use. But a USB-C is an older 2.0 standard, not the faster 3.2. I'm guessing that just to keep the price down and not paying higher certificates. But honestly, you're only gonna realize the USB speed if you're moving files from a cable to a computer. And let's be honest, when was the last time you actually moved anything from a computer to a PC with a cable? Also, some users have been reporting small issues with Magic OS X, like Google Discovery page disappearing and always on. I realized that one. You always need to tap it to bring it back, so it's not really always on. So I had the question like, who's this device for? And honestly, for someone that it wants a device that's gonna last you all day, it's gonna take some amazing photos, and it does feel well made without paying a massive Flagship price. And honestly, this is fitting a pattern that Honor have lately put a lot the same features on the same of the tablets and the last year's phone and the laptop. Everything keeps showing here, just a little bit more refined, everything. And this is generally a solid device from a brand that's still an underdog brand. And this is all, guys. Thanks for watching. This has been my full review of the Honor 600 Pro. Just don't forget to subscribe. Leave your comments if you've got any questions, suggestions, anything that you want to ask. I'm always here to answer your questions. Wait for my guys. I'm Checotech, and I will see you on the next one. Adios.